Hi. Best things about being a teacher, students are funny, they always make me laugh.
Working with young people, they're an inspiration and they come up with something original every day. So no 2 days are ever the same.
Well, I would say probably the best thing about it is that no 2 days are the same. You are dealing with individuals on a daily basis, and even a planned lesson that you've done for years is never going to be exactly the same because your responses from the pupils are always very different. So I think that helps keep you quite young, to be honest. It's refreshing. It's quite nice not knowing what's going to happen sometimes. Sometimes it can be a bit manic, but sometimes it's great too.
The best thing about being a teacher, probably when students finally understand what you're talking about, entirely due to my influence, of course they can't take any credit, but when then I have a light bulb moment and you think, oh, they actually understand what I'm talking about.
What's the best thing about being the headmaster?
There's many things, but I think the most rewarding thing is watching young people grow up and mature into young adults ready to go out and fulfil their destiny.
What's your most embarrassing teacher moment?
I would say, well, there've probably been a few, some of which I cannot mention, but probably one embarrassing moment was many years ago during field work, and we were out in the field. I was talking to all the pupils about safety. We discussed risk assessments and why you had to wear the correct equipment and, proper footwear and be careful about slipping. And literally as I finished, who fell? Me. I slipped probably halfway down the bank, covering myself completely in mud because it had been a wet few days beforehand. Literally all the back of my trousers, my bottom, everything, whole halfway up my back, covered. And I was with Mr. Weeks at the time, and I said, oh, can I go back and change? Because we were literally had just arrived. No. So I had to spend the whole day like that, unfortunately, which wasn't pleasant, but it dried.
There have been so many. Oh, I can't think of one. I mean, I'm always getting things wrong when I'm working out answers to problems, but everybody gets used to that because we all make mistakes. No, I'll have to think about that.
This is bad though. The most embarrassing thing that I did was one time at parents' evening, Nick's mum sat down in front of me and she said, hello, I'm Nick's mum. And I said, hello, Nick's mum. And I proceeded to tell her all about Nick and what a good boy he was, etc. Anyway, Nick's mum left. And then I thought, what's Nick's mum doing in the queue to speak to me? I've just talked to her. And I thought, oh no, I told the wrong Nick's mum about the wrong Nick. No wonder she was so pleased. So I told a bad Nick's mum about a good Nick. But I just didn't say anything, and after that the bad Nick became good.
Embarrassing thing about being a teacher, I once farted when I shouted at a student.
After themselves and fend for themselves. No, say that again. There's been many during teaching, but probably as head is when last year I announced Kian's name as completely wrong on the prize giving video.
That's a hard one because it's not very, it wouldn't be very interesting. I forgot my pen, it's like, I'm not going to do that, What a most embarrassing teacher moment. Well, he's hope he's not filming this, so he's anything yet. No, it's true. Do I find anything embarrassing is a good point. Do I actually find anything embarrassing? I was probably more embarrassed that I'm not really embarrassed by anything. I have absolutely no shame at all. And that's something I try to communicate with the students. That if there was something, I'd have blanked it out a long time ago. Yeah, I wouldn't want to reveal. I can't even think of it. I don't know. I'm completely shameless. How would students remember me? Well, in one way, it's quoted Neil deGrasse Tyson. I can't take credit for it. He said, "You students shouldn't remember you in a way. It's not your job to be memorable or be remembered. The job is to for the information you've given them for the students to own it themselves, so that they they remember that. When they remember it, it becomes part of them. So the experience of being here with me, doing all this, becomes part of them, and they remember something about that rather than, oh, do you remember the time you did that, such thing. No, I don't think that's important. It's important that students go on and just become the best they can be, become better, rather than remember a few rubbish jokes or, you know, your silly hair or something nonsense like that. I don't think that's important.
And how students will remember me? Being short.
Well, if they go on and have full and happy lives, I don't expect they'll remember me much at all. So, and I would be quite happy with that. So I'm sure they'll soon forget me as they move on.
Okay, I think most of my students will remember me for being enthusiastic, bright, smiley, but bossy.
How do you think your students will remember you?
I would imagine grumpy would be certainly one, but obviously funny and their favourite teacher, I would imagine.
One piece of advice I would give to every student, my son will probably repeat, I say this to him all the time, is let all the rubbish wash over you, keep your eye on where you want to go, and don't let anybody stop you following your dreams.
One piece of advice: never listen to advice. That's my advice.
I would certainly say find something you enjoy and stick with it, because that's the most rewarding thing.
To keep learning, that you've never finished just because you finished school. There's always new things to learn, but to enjoy yourself as well, to get balance. It's not all about the study.
I would say follow your instincts. So many times, especially when they're doing questions, they'll write an answer and then they'll change their mind because they doubt themselves, change it, and then they find out that actually that first answer was right. Very often our instincts kick in for a reason, yeah, and you've got to learn to trust your gut, trust that you are right, believe in yourself a bit more, know that, yeah, I've gone with that, I'm going to stick with it. So trust your instincts, definitely.
Advice to students: always follow your heart, don't listen to your parents.
Be confident. Have faith in the decisions that you make. Be prepared to make mistakes, but make sure you learn from those mistakes. Good luck.